Next step communications from the Source are your point of connection with the work of the Source to build the heaven life was meant to be. I'm Sherry Daniel. I'm the director of the Heaven Project and the founder of the Miracle School. Next Step Communications is sponsored by the Miracle School, which is a source-directed, miracle-based training program for spiritual activists. This source communication is about the Heaven Launch Miracle and about entering into the heaven reality to live heaven in your everyday life. This source communication is a call to action of all spiritual activists who wish to support the work of the Source to materialize the total abundance that will enable all beings to live heaven, heaven being the highest level of happiness that is possible. The Source has just brought a series of miracles into the world. They are the Source solution to the need for perfecting the suits, the body-mind, so that beings can transition out of scarcity and suffering into the abundance and peace of a heaven way of life. What follows is information on the miracles, conveyed in part through source drawings that contain source energies that enable you to understand the spiritual level of reality as the Source sees it. These drawings, along with the sound of my voice and the energies behind the written words, communicate to your suit the depth of understanding that it needs in order to grasp the enormity of the opportunity that is now available. I am able to provide these source energies because I am the manifestation of the Source who incarnates in order to communicate the Source perspective so that beings can have a chance to work with the Source to build the heaven that their lives and all of life was meant to be. Now let's take a look at the heaven reality that's been created. The Source has created a new spiritual space in which it is possible to experience the perfection of heaven. In this spiritual space, a life system that supports the heaven experience has been created. Those entering into this space are in a training ground where they can learn how to live heaven through being in a perfected spiritual environment which only supports what is most conducive to the heaven of true happiness. In this perfected space, they are able to work effectively with the miracles that train their suits to live heaven in everyday life. This training will enable the suit to transition easily from the original creation, which is depicted in this source drawing by the gray sphere on the left, into the ultimate heaven reality which the Source has created, the Source perfected world, which is depicted by the blue sphere on the right. In the Source perfected world, there is a complete expression of heaven, since there is no inner or outer plane vestige of the hell of suffering that exists in the original creation, which is the world that beings live in today. The gray color of the original creation denotes the low vibrational level of this world because of the high levels of scarcity, struggle, and suffering. To prepare to enter into the Source perfected world, it is necessary to have mastered living heaven in the original creation. Until the advent of the heaven reality, depicted here by the blue square, there was no safe zone in which those not living in the shelter of a prototype community, which is shielded from the negativity, could go to live heaven. While this heaven reality is only an inner plane spiritual reality, unlike the Source perfected world, which is an outer plane world, it provides the suit with a perfected life system within which the suit can learn how to live heaven. The experience of living in a perfected life system that only supports an integrated way of life is what enables the suit to finally understand what it takes to live heaven, and then to master living heaven. In this way, it becomes prepared to transition into the ultimate heaven reality of the Source perfected world. Now let's take a look at the essential spiritual structure of a heaven reality. A heaven reality, which is depicted here as the blue square, is a perfectly supportive life system that sustains a being, represented by the blue circle, in a spiritual environment that sends supportive energies to the being to sustain all of his needs. This is symbolized in this source drawing by the arrows coming from the square to the circle, which represents the being. The being balances the exchange by sending his support to the life system. This is symbolized by the arrows going from the circle, which represents the being, to the square, which represents the life system. In this totally balanced life system, there is a loving and supportive exchange between the being and the life system. This makes for a sustainable way of life that is heaven. Outside of the heaven reality is a harvesting system that siphons off the life energies of the beings who are caught in it. I call this reality a hell reality because hell is the term I use for a world of suffering, scarcity, and struggle. In the harvesting system of the hell reality, the square represents the harvesting trap, which shoots through to the being, represented by the blue circle, cracking into the defenses of the suit and trying to harvest its life energies. The being is like an insect trapped in a spider web. If the being shoots back at the harvesting system that it is caught in, then the system takes this energy and uses it to shoot back with greater power. Eventually, it starts cracking through the defenses of the suit, fragmenting the suit. When its suit is fragmented, it loses its ability to retain life energies. As the harvesting system siphons off its life energies, it becomes more and more depleted until it eventually is destroyed, consumed by the harvesting system. The destruction can take the form of the soul being unlinked from the organic form because of the loss of the life energies that sustain its connection. This results in spiritual death, since the soul is no longer incarnate in a form in the manifest world. The organic form then becomes an empty suit, which can be harvested in its entirety by the negativity, who take it over and use it as another piece of equipment that they have acquired. Because the negativity is ruthless in its harvesting operation, the empty suit can become so depleted that it sickens and dies on a physical level. This is like the counterpart of a cancer that so greedily consumes the host that it kills itself and the host. Despite the loss of the suit as a useful piece of equipment, the negativity persists in ravaging anything that it controls. While most of life in the original creation takes place in such a harvesting trap, most beings are so caught up in trying to survive in a world that is fraught with scarcity, war, crime, domestic violence, diseases, accidents, and all other kinds of misfortunes, that they rarely stop to question the situation and look for an ultimate release from the nightmare. Many assume that this is life because the state of suffering has been going on for as long as there has been recorded history. They even create theories that the Creator intended life to be full of suffering as a test of some sort, or that nightmarish scenarios are just in the nature of things. Many accept the negativity in themselves and in the world as a part of the natural order. They therefore do nothing about trying to eliminate the problems at their root. Instead, they try to cope with them and ameliorate them to whatever degree they can. Modern medicine, for instance, tries to alleviate the suffering from disease, but the existence of disease is considered normal and to be continued. Emergency help is given to the victims of war and crime, but no ultimate solution to stopping war and crime is ever achieved. Instead, many hope for a better life after death and just put up with the suffering in this life. Life was meant to be an experience of true happiness, lived in a safe life system that supports each individual life and is supported by each life. The sad state of affairs in the world today is the result of the mistakes that beings have made in disconnecting from the source and creating a world based on greed, where beings live in a harvesting trap and try to survive by harvesting one another. Self-interest driven by greed is the energy current that sustains this reality, creating a downward spiral into increasing suffering. You can see this clearly on the earth. World wars have escalated to the potential for an ultimate world war that could destroy the habitat for life on the Earth. Economic greed has led to the pollution of the environment, which has already caused irreparable environmental destruction. The overuse of scarce resources has set the stage for future conflict over scarce essential natural resources. Rather than living in a love-based community that nurtures all of its own, people on the Earth live in crime-riddled environments on a planet where genocide can erupt even in the most seemingly civilized populations. No one is safe in such a world where rape, child abuse, and wanton murders in schools and public places rob people of their peace of mind. Many people have lost sight of how to draw on spiritual insights from the source to build a peaceful world. Instead, they kill one another over sectarian differences in their religious ideologies. People socialized to jockey for position in such a world have suits that don't know how to live heaven. Even if you put them in a perfect heaven reality, they wouldn't know what to do. They would invariably try to set up the hell that they were used to. They might not even want to leave their hell reality because it is their comfort zone and what they're accustomed to. The only way for a suit to make the transition out of the hell reality into the heaven reality is for it to receive new training that enables it to not only cooperate with its escape, but to know how to work harmoniously with the life system of the heaven reality so it can live heaven in this new optimal environment. The kind of training that enables the suit to make the transition out of the hell reality into the heaven reality is not the kind of training that has socialized it to accept the adverse conditions of the hell reality. In this form of education, information is presented to the conscious mind, and it is believed that if it is drilled in enough through repetition, homework assignments, or life experience, that it will eventually make it through to the subconscious mind. While this works for some who have an uncluttered subconscious mind that's eager to take in new learning, it doesn't work for the majority of the people who score less than 100% in their ability to learn, retain, and be able to utilize everything that is offered. What makes learning in the subconscious range difficult are the emotional and cognitive structures that have formed in the subconscious mind. These structures might be fear, self-sabotage, anger, an inner fantasy world, addictions, denial, and the like. When new learning tries to enter into this world that is fragmented into clusters of resistant emotional and cognitive material, it often can't take root and is bounced around until it disintegrates and the learning is lost. For example, many children coming to school from families where they are being abused are so traumatized that learning doesn't take at the subconscious level. It hits the barriers of fear, sorrow, self-hate, anger, and bounces out. The children get poor grades in school and often get in trouble for not paying attention. These negative school experiences cause them to develop even more barriers to learning. In the end, they fail to learn and suffer further from being unable to gain access to higher-paying jobs and a better economic future because of their inability to learn what is needed to succeed in the economic arena. A significant percentage of the children and adults on the earth have learning problems that prevent them from advancing in their lives. Yet another issue in top-down education is the focus on equipping the suit with static knowledge that it then repeats endlessly whether the knowledge is relevant to real-life circumstances or not. A good example of this is parents repeating the parenting patterns of their parents without taking into account the unique makeup of their particular child and the intelligent approach that is really needed to help their child to learn and to grow up into a balanced person who can live heaven in their life. Top-down education turns most suits into unthinking robots that repeat patterns and don't know what to do if they don't have a pattern to repeat. What creative thought occurs is within the box of what is culturally defined as reality, and it's not responsive to the true complexities of the creation, which bespeaks a reality that is outside of the box. They therefore don't pick up on the signals sent by the source to see what is actually going on and to respond intelligently. Instead, they see only what is defined as reality within the cultural box. Source-created training for the suit is the exact opposite of the man-made approach to learning. It is bottom-up training versus top-down training. Instead of starting at the top, the 10% of consciousness that is within the conscious range, it begins at the bottom with the 90% of consciousness that is in the subconscious range. This is because the source has created the suits to do most of the thinking and processing necessary to perfect performance in the subconscious range. This is similar to how the organic body works. The conscious mind knows little of the technical calculations that are being made by the body in the subconscious range that control the functioning of all of the billions of cells in the body. The conscious mind knows only how to cooperate with these processes, not how to run them. The source designed the conscious mind to be an integrated expression of the perfect performance of the subconscious mind, building on the solid structure of the subconscious mind to form the skill sets needed in the conscious range for perfect performance to occur. Given this source design for the suit, it only makes sense that the source first sends the subconscious mind what it needs in order to function perfectly, and then, when perfect functioning is occurring at the subconscious level, it sends what the conscious mind needs to function perfectly. In this way, no input from the source is being sent into an inhospitable learning environment. The consciousness of the suit is being prepared to receive information as well as being given the information that is needed. The way that this works is that the training is given first through inner plane training downloads to the subconscious mind. Along with the training downloads comes a perfected intelligence, who monitors the learning process, reporting into the sources needed to keep everything functioning smoothly. The perfected intelligence works with the source to set up a platform of intelligence, which operates like a resource grid. In every square of the grid, training downloads can land that contain the specific technical knowledge that enables the subconscious range of the suit to know how to function perfectly in the complex materialization process that manifests total abundance, the total abundance that's needed to live heaven. Rather than teaching the suit a set of rote patterns to be utilized across the board in all contexts, the training downloads give the suit a platform of intelligence that enables it to learn how to respond intelligently to the ongoing information sent by the source about what is happening and how to work with source guidance to live heaven in the moment. Since life situations are complex and no two situations are exactly the same, a suit that is intelligent and can respond to source direction on the spot is a suit that can live heaven. Once the training downloads have landed in the platform of intelligence, they begin to disseminate information to the entire subconscious range so that an integrated understanding of what needs to be done to effect perfect performance in every aspect of the suit is achieved for the entire subconscious range. For example, a particular set of training downloads might be generated to enable the suit to form love-based relationships. This kind of perfect performance has to be integrated with every other activity of the suit in order for integrated functioning to occur in the suit. The perfected intelligence works with the perfected intelligence of other training downloads that cover other aspects of suit functioning to contribute to the integrated functioning of the suit as a whole. Once perfect integrated suit functioning has been achieved in the subconscious range, the perfected intelligence launches core code clusters into the conscious range of the suit. These code clusters come into the consciousness as dreamlike images, understandings, new ideas, and complex communications received during a time of attuning to source guidance. As the suit in the conscious range works with these code clusters, it begins to understand what is needed to develop the skill sets that will carry the perfect performance in the subconscious range into the actions taken in the conscious range. This is a process that is best facilitated with outer plane training that helps the conscious mind to interpret the meaning of the code clusters and to think through how to develop the skill sets. In the absence of outer plane training, the code clusters will in time organize the conscious mind to develop the skill sets. It will just take longer. With bottom-up education, everyone is able to achieve perfect performance at both the subconscious range and the conscious range, and the learning that is achieved is based on perfect content given to the suit by the source. This is in contrast to the often erroneous content of top-down education, which is providing the suit with information that's based on the theories of humans of how things work. It has been more than apparent from the chaos and destruction in the world that man-made theories of how to live life have added up to the world of suffering that we know today. Source-given knowledge, such as what has been given to the members of the 14 prototype communities that I founded many thousands of years ago in different parts of the creation, have given rise to communities that are living heaven. These communities have mastered the art of working with the Source in the materialization process to materialize total abundance, perfect health, love-based relationships, and life purpose fulfillment. They worked not from the new kind of training download that has just been recently created by the Source. They worked from spiritual genetic code given in a bottom-up educational format. The code came into the subconscious mind, germinated like a seed, and gradually, over decades, grew up to build the structures of understanding and perfect performance in both the subconscious mind and the conscious mind. Since beings in the world today don't have decades to grow the seeds of heaven, which is what spiritual genetic code is, the Source has created training downloads that can go into the subconscious range and have the suit functioning optimally within 24 hours in the subconscious range and within a short period of time thereafter in the conscious range. Such speed in learning has never been possible before. With all of the upcoming vibrational shifts that demand a high level of integrated suit functioning, there was an urgent need for a faster method for training the suits. Since perfect suit functioning is a requirement for survival in the Source-perfected universe and for transitioning into the Source-perfected world, this fast-track form of training has become an essential part of the overall Source solution for perfecting suits to live in the Source-perfected world that will one day be the only reality. Bottom-up training is administered through total abundance packets that contain inner plane training downloads for specific aspects of suit functioning. A perfected intelligence who mans the training downloads and radios to the Source with information about what is happening and for additional Source interventions as needed. Source support, administered through whatever Source interventions and miracle tools are needed to support the training process. Source power to ensure an outcome of perfect performance in the aspect of suit functioning being trained by the training download. Inner plane training sessions to work through whatever issues each aspect of the consciousness of the suit has about the training process. And outer plane training consultations to assist in the development of the skill sets that arise from the core code clusters. Now let's take a look at how you, as a spiritual activist, can work with the Source solutions described in this Source communication. The Source organizes the spiritual activism work by the causes that it promotes. In this case, the cause is to transition out of the hell reality into the heaven reality and learn how to live heaven. The campaign is what the Source creates to respond to the cause. In this case, it is the Live Heaven campaign. which is to provide the source-directed training that enables suits to learn how to live heaven. The source call to action is to take step 1, make the choice to live heaven. Take step 2, work with the source in the Live Heaven Intensive, which provides 2 total abundance packets: the Heaven Launch Training Packet, to make the transition out of the hell reality into the heaven reality, to adjust to living in a perfected life system, to release from all of the hell ways of life that remain in the suit, and to keep the suit on the path to learning how to live heaven throughout life. The second packet is the Core Live Heaven Training Packet. It provides the basic training downloads for living heaven, teaching the suit how to materialize total abundance, perfect health, love-based relationships, life purpose fulfillment, and the love connection with the source. The intensive also includes source support through source interventions and miracle tools as needed to support the learning process. Source power to materialize the miracle of perfect suit functioning and the total abundance that occurs when the suit can do its part perfectly in materializing the total abundance that is the foundation for a heaven way of life. Source range heaven happenings that create the miracle-friendly field of energy that is necessary for the miracles to manifest and for the suit to attain perfection. Interplane training sessions administered by the source that coach the suit on all the levels of consciousness to let go of the hell way of life and transition fully into the heaven way of life. Outer plane training through private consultations via phone, Skype, or in person. Live Heaven webinars. And spiritual work and ultimate spiritual healing stations online and or in the Ultimate Spiritual Healing Center in Seattle, Washington, in the United States. Ultimate spiritual healing stations are perfected spiritual spaces where you can go to work one-on-one with a manifestation of the source that manifests there to assist you in healing and perfecting your suit. These stations exist in their full power in the Ultimate Spiritual Healing Center in Seattle, where you can be immersed in the perfection of a place of heaven that greatly accelerates your suit's ability to learn what it means to live heaven. Online stations that can be easily accessed at any hour of the day enable you to be in a protected, high-power energy space where you can immediately connect to the source and benefit from this kind of very individualized source care. Since one of the biggest problems for people is the fact that they don't know how to connect to the source for help, Ultimate Spiritual Healing Stations are the source solution for this problem in connecting. All you have to do is to go to the station, and the source is able to help you make a quality connection that enables you to begin working individually with the source on the core issues of your life. Such help has never been available before because no place could uphold the high vibrational levels necessary for the source to manifest in this way and for spiritual work of this kind to be done. Now, with Ultimate Spiritual Healing Stations, anyone, anywhere can be in the immediate presence of the source and can receive the help that they need. The Live Heaven Intensive is individually structured to meet the needs of each person. It provides the most basic level training of the Miracle School, which is the source-directed school for spiritual activists. To find out what kind of structure the intensive should take for you, you need to request an assessment. In the assessment, I will provide you with information on what your suit needs now and how the work can evolve over time. The ongoing structure of the intensive provides the support that you need to support the learning process in your suit that will enable it to master the art of living heaven in its everyday life. Become love in action. Take the steps to transition into the heaven reality where you can begin living heaven and working with other spiritual activists to build the heaven of a love-based global and universal community that works together to materialize total abundance for all. Begin by requesting an assessment of what your suit needs to transition into the heaven reality and to learn how to live heaven once it is there. To request an assessment, you can go to www.themiracleschool.net/Live Heaven Intensive.